darkness only prevails in the absence of light.
Can a city plagued by darkness find healing? Is it possible for centuries of demonic oppression to be demolished? What would happen if churches put aside their differences to pray? Can a city be won for Christ? The Lord placed a desire in Pastor Coco's heart to go to Colombia. The mission? To win a city for Christ by unifying the churches to pray. But there was only one major problem. He did not know a single soul, leaving him with zero connections.
Naturally, it doesn't sound like a good idea, going somewhere where you don't know anyone. But we have to walk and we have to listen to God in our hearts, and we can't be thinking in our minds. We need to walk by faith and not by sight.
Things were moving quickly, so Coco reached out to the Dominican Republic to connect with his translator, Pastor Abar.
Estaba emocionado porque sentía que Dios me había estado llamando para ir a Colombia, incluso antes de que Coco me invitara. Sabía que Dios nos llamó, así que no me importaba no tener contactos. Lo único realmente difícil para mí fue tener que dejar a mi familia por 4 meses.
In the natural, trying to win a city for Christ in just 4 months without a contact didn't seem like the brightest idea. But in the kingdom, knowing is never growing until you get going. The mission was clear. Bring 2 Chronicles 7:14 to Barranquilla. If my people, who are called by my name, will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven, and I will forgive their sin and will heal their land. On the flight, Coco bumped into the mayor of Barranquilla, and they became instant friends. His first connection in Barranquilla was an influential one. He shared the vision of a march for Jesus, and the mayor was eager to help. The only challenge was the churches knew nothing about this upcoming event.
Naturally, some of the big pastors, are using reason, and they're saying that this is too big. You're coming into my city, we're the pastors, the heads of the church here. Who is this gringo? Who's this guy? You're gonna come into my city and rent the largest stadium in the entire Colombia, and you're gonna have a march for Jesus and do this in 3 months? And it's crazy. It is crazy.
The mission went from crazy to impossible. In the midst of discouragement, the team met a man named Cesar Gomez. He was a beacon of hope who had the same heart of winning the city for Christ. Because of his great passion for unity, Cesar was voted the director of Barranquilla for Christ.
Bueno, mi gran pasión es la unidad. La unidad no es una opción, es una necesidad. Y después conocer la visión de Pastor Steven Coco, donde me dice, yo quiero que usted sea el director de Barranquilla para Cristo. Yo lloré esa noche, sí lloré, porque no me sentía digno.
We had a small team with small churches, small pockets, but very humble. And it's great because God uses us for not who we are, but who He is through us.
Night and day, the team traveled the city, working around the clock, ministering to over 120 churches in just 40 days.
And fatigue is setting in here. We're working around the clock. The team is working really hard, which is knocking on the door. The enemy is knowing that we are present, and he's upset at this. People on the team have gone to the hospital. Cameramen have quit.
Algunos estaban siendo atormentados por demonios y por temor, huyeron de nuestro equipo porque entendieron que los demonios le empezaron a atormentar cuando empezaron a trabajar en nuestro equipo.
You know, it's a spiritual war.
I don't like being attacked by demons so much.
Even with countless attacks, the team was relentless in recruiting the churches to the upcoming events.
Y cuanto más nosotros que estamos en nuestra ciudad nos tenemos que parar en la brecha y conquistar lo que ya Dios nos entregó. Yo no sé, hermano, pero yo estoy apasionado. Este hombre me ha apasionado a mí y todos los equipos de trabajo. Son unos hombres que están trabajando día y noche, se duermen 4 horas solamente. Él tiene un lema: no comer, no dormir, trabajar para las almas. Él quiere ver el infierno vacío y el cielo lleno. ¿Cuántos creen que eso va a suceder?
At last, the churches caught the vision. Pastors from all over Barranquilla were coming together in support of this new unity movement, Barranquilla for Christ.
Soy el pastor David Reyes, pastor de la Iglesia Boston Central, director de Radio Vida Nueva. Yo también me uno a Barranquilla para Cristo.
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 The word was going viral, and soon the media was filling the air with the sound Barranquilla para Cristo. Even celebrities got in on the action.
Hola, soy Roche Stevenson y yo también me uno a Barranquilla para Cristo.
Soy Elsa Noguera, alcaldesa de Barranquilla, y quiero invitarlos todos a la marcha por Cristo.
Mi nombre es Daniela Más y los espero en la marcha Barranquilla para Cristo.
Despite the new momentum, this mission was far from crossing the finish line. Just 6 days before the Unity Night, the team's funds were stolen.
In my 12 years of missions, I never felt so low.
It turned out to be an inside job, as a Judas from the team was revealed.
No sé, mañana que le lleven esos papeles y que él nos diga que cuánto es que era esto, dónde ha sido unos engaños, dónde ha habido, que salga todo. Una de mis preocupaciones era esa, que yo también sabía en mi corazón que él no tenía nada ahí. Porque le estamos pidiendo, muéstranos socorro, muéstranos esto, no hay nada. Pero realmente estamos mal, muy mal.
This same person also neglected to properly confirm the stadium.
Pero esto el enemigo no lo va a frenar. Nosotros vamos a avanzar. Usted no me mira a mí, usted no mira a su compañero, usted mira a Jesús. Delante de la presencia de Dios va a entender que esto es de guerra, esto es de lucha, esto es arrebatarlo. Si usted quiere levantar esos brazos de victoria, tiene que pelear.
The team desperately tried to come up with a strategy to somehow keep hope alive. But FIFA would stick the final dagger into their hearts, unexpectedly switching their soccer game to the same night as the Unity events. This automatically canceled both the March for Jesus and the Unity Prayer Night. There was no more to do in Barranquilla, but for the team to pack their bags and go home.
We were deeply hurt from the situation, and I've never seen Pastor Coco so pale from devastation.
It was all over. All those sleepless nights, all the fundraising, all the planning, all that effort for the last 90 days was in vain. Unaware, hundreds of churches proudly displayed their Barranquilla for Christ flags for an event that no longer existed.
Nosotros también somos de Barranquilla para Cristo.
It was hard to believe that everything that everyone worked for was over. then everyone had to go home.
It's so easy to believe God when He's moving. But what do you do when it seems like God's not moving? What do you do when everything seems dead? You know, it's so easy right now to just go home and quit. But we came here by faith and we're going to stay here by faith. We serve a God who can raise the dead, and I believe He can still resurrect this thing.
As the sun was setting on this mission, a holy anger was beginning to stir in Stephen Coco. Realizing this had to be a demonic attack, the team turned to the offensive. Fasting and praying night and day, they prayed against the forces of darkness, against that ancient serpent, the one who seeks to kill, steal, and destroy. Placing all their trust in God, they fasted and prayed day and night. They united like never before. They prayed for a resurrection of God's mission to be fulfilled in Barranquilla. It was 3 days before the event, and the team is tired and drained, but standing in faith. During a time of prayer, Coco experienced an encounter with Jesus.
And I'll never forget that moment. One of the most powerful moments of my life. The team was praying, and I just went to the balcony, and I was just declaring that the powers of darkness would fall, just crying from the depths of my heart. I felt such a heavy weight on my chest. And Jesus came. And Jesus put His hand on my chest, removed the weight, and He said, "It's over, my son. It's over." And I just knew that meant we won. And I was so happy. I felt such peace. I should have went in and told the team to stop praying, but I had to just enjoy the presence of God. And then I went inside and I told the team, "It's over. The Lord's given us the victory." And the team was confused, but Cesar looked at me and he's like, "You're serious, Coco?" I said, "I'm serious. Go ahead and eat." And after 45 minutes, we got that phone call.
The team received a phone call that FIFA would make an unprecedented exception and the Unity events would be reinstated.
Dios hizo algo poderoso.
Thank you.
The next day, the mayor invited Pastor Coco for a personal visit and generously gave Barranquilla para Cristo the funds needed to cover the event. Waves of celebration roared in the team's hotel room and would soon roar in the largest stadium of Colombia. The mayor, a new friend of the ministry, came bearing one more gift. She symbolically presented the Barranquilla flag on a silver platter and placed it at the throne. The church began to worship as one. The 300-member Unity Choir and the 120 multi-church Unity dancers echoed praises throughout the crisp night air. Various denominational pastors wept in repentance as they washed each other's feet and prayed for unity. Strongholds were falling off left and right. You could feel healing streams flowing down as worship rose up. A legendary event was in the making. Even the mayor got saved.
Toda la iglesia del Señor Jesucristo reunida, porque somos un solo cuerpo en Cristo Jesús. Amén. Esta no es una vigilia cualquiera. Esta es una vigilia que Dios preparó para su iglesia. Esta es una vigilia que el mismo Dios está haciendo. Esta ciudad le pertenece a Dios. Las almas son del Rey de Reyes y el Señor de Señores. Estos hombres vinieron a dar lo que Cristo le ha dado a ellos. Porque el único que se merece toda la gloria es nuestro Dios Todopoderoso. Gracias a Dios por esta hermosa unidad, Señor.
Peace treaties were signed, crimes reduced, and the name of Jesus exalted.
El pueblo de Cristo marchando va,
the churches collectively birthed a 24/7 prayer chain preparing for the final phase. The strongholds had fallen. The churches were trained. The only thing left was to take their city for Christ. A 1-month-long evangelism challenge, injecting the gospel to every corner of Barranquilla. Hospitals, universities, homes, street outreaches, seminars. The Department of Education joined the action and allowed the team to organize extensive high school tours, up to 14 schools a day. Under the team's direction, churches worked together to reach high school students all over the city. Thousands of teenagers felt the touch of God on their lives. Chains broke, strongholds demolished, lives changed, souls saved. Barranquilla was coming to Christ. With over 80% of the high school students eager for more, church volunteers used personal calls, texts, and social media to connect with each student and invite them to follow-up events and youth programs. It was the darkest day on the nation's calendar, and the churches were up to the challenge. Immersed in prayer, the team set up an event called Day of Life or Death, You Decide. Attacking the forces of darkness on his day, on his turf. Witches and warlocks were in the communities casting spells, performing incantations, and manipulating the weather.
I mean, Tim just had a vision yesterday that the day of life, a cloud was going to come and try to stop our event. For weeks we haven't seen it rain, and today, on the Day of the Dead, dark clouds are coming, and it's raining.
Some people grew nervous and began to leave, but the team stood their ground and took authority over the powers of darkness. They were used to this by now. So instead of talking about their problem, they spoke directly to the problem.
And then boom, there was breakthrough. Now I didn't feel it first. Coco said, "That's it, it's done." I went, "Okay, really?" This was really my first time praying clouds away and asking God to change the weather. And so I just trusted him, and honestly within 5-10 seconds it stopped.
There was no mistaking this was the hand of God. Light pierced the darkness and the stage was set for salvation.
You have to choose to die to yourself.
Tienes que elegir morir a ti mismo.
I have paid that cost.
Yo he pagado ese precio.
And my blindfold was removed.
Y mi venda fue quitada.
And now when I walk in light.
Y ahora cuando camino en la luz.
The question remains, what about your city? Can transformation come to your hometown? What would happen if the pastors of your city united for prayer? What would happen if churches came together against the powers of darkness? What would happen if prayer was not a last resort, but our first priority? So what about your city? Are you ready for God to invade your city?